Please give this video a like and subscribe!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome back to Honey Badger Arcade. My name is Brian, and I am here with John, the problematic white guy, and this is the Week in Culture, where we discuss the cultural news of the week and try to dig a little bit deeper into it. I'm gonna try. You know what I was gonna say? I forgot to tell you this before the show. I found a place where I could make AI songs that I can use to make a little intro.
Oh yeah.
But I need to figure out, maybe you can help me with this, or some of you guys that are watching. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a little 30-second long, maybe 1 minute long opening theme song, and maybe base it on something. I don't know, take an existing song, change the lyrics around, change the style, maybe make it more, I don't know, punk rock or something. I don't know what it is that might be the good way to go, but I was thinking about doing that just to add a little bit more interest and make it more interesting. And I like playing with these tools. So have you ever done anything like that, John?
A little bit here and there. I mean, we're working on making well, we created that whole new studio for doing Fallout content on Thursday nights. And so yeah, we've got a theme song called Nuke and Night that we need to make a thing for. And last night we were messing around on our Fridays, and we got into AI and glam rock versions of people that hang out on our panels. And so now the idea is we have an intro where we're playing in a band to a song called Titsplosion, and so now we're joking about making a glam rock version of the intro specifically for just the silliness of these AI versions of ourselves that we generated. So yeah, I mean, it's always nice to just kind of add new stuff to the shows itself. Helps it kind of grow as time goes by, I think.
Well, yeah, and I just sort of like the process of artistically adding to things. Like on my other channel, the one I mainly work at, Honey Badger Radio, sometimes we have guests on or people that appear with us that don't want to be on camera, or they can't be on camera. A lot of times it's they don't want to, they're protective of their identity, and I get that because it's not like we don't talk about controversial things.
Well, we do have a right to privacy for a reason,
Yeah, exactly. But so what I do is I take their avatars and I animate them, and I draw them myself, but then I have AI help me make an animation. So it's not like I'm just using AI. It's like a mix. It's my artwork, and then AI animates it. Now sometimes it takes more liberties than I care to let it, because it'll change the style a lot. So I'll just work with it until it looks the way I want it to, and then I'll use it and it sort of creates interest. I think it adds something fun to it, and I like doing it. It's kind of fun for me to do, but I would have to figure out what what kind of music do you think fits the theme of the show, and also maybe some background music. I could add that in too. So I used to play the Great Rebellion soundtrack in the background because it has this cool kind of retro chiptune.
I always like some synth wavy kind of.
Yeah, synth wave. You like the synth wavy stuff? Yeah. Okay. But with lyrics, right? So we just find something and then figure out what lyrics will fit, and then do that.
I'm generally pretty amenable. But yeah, definitely having an intro music certainly helps kind of get you boosted. I think I know for WTF in the mornings we do that, and we just kind of start all just kick it up with a nice rock song right at the beginning, come in shouting and screaming, get the energy flowing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, the background music would be Mr. 0303. The background music would be really low. It would be so that when there are, let's say that there's a little bit of a pause, that there's no sound, and I think that having a little bit of background music,
as they say, yes, silence is death when you're doing any.
Yeah, exactly.
Media.
So, and I just got my audio situation more or less. I was spending all morning trying to fix it with Elgato Wavelink and stuff, and I might be getting a microphone. I mean, this microphone I've had for a while, but I feel like I should get a new mic. I bet there's good ones out right now. Allison's got my really good one. It's in Canada, but I don't know if I'm gonna see it for a while, so I kind of want something in the meantime. But anyway, look, I'm getting off topic. I mean, we're not even starting the show yet, but I just wanted to say that, you know, this is a project that I'm having fun with, which is why I'm spending more time on it. And I'm open to any ideas, suggestions, or even help with creating a little opening theme song with maybe like something, you know, of like an opening intro of some kind. I'm not sure how it would do it. Maybe I could use clips. Maybe I could, you know, put something together with, again, with AI. I mean, a lot of people do that. And I think it can be fun. And I don't really have, you know, I'm not as like down on AI as a lot of people are. You know, I think that there's like a lazy way to use it. It's like any tool. There's a lazy way to use it. And then there's like a, you know, more, let's
if you
say,
try to easy button your way through situations by saying, oh, the AI, it's kind of like the old, we'll just fix it in post. Even if you're using AI tools, it still takes a great number of hours to actually do anything. You know, the thing I just made for Scooby, easily probably, you know, for a 3.5 minute video with all the source clips being generated by AI, that was still a good, you know, probably 50 hours of, you know, just kind of editing and overall, because, you know, I went and I did a pass, and then I went back and I kind of I rebuilt it pretty much every time I get new content, because, you know, the edit isn't final until you actually have all the stuff that, you know, you're working with. So, you know, the actual time that I spent doing it, that's legitimate crafting, you know, and you have to go in and you know, with the shots that are AI generated specifically, you have to play with those usually a little bit, cut around the stuff that, you know, the weird aberrations. The video that I made for Scooby, I noticed that one of the scenes, Eve has 3 arms for about, you know, 2 seconds. So
yeah, you have to be careful with those. I've
right,
seen that.
right.
I
So
think
you have to go
Elon Musk shared something of a grok animation. I think he shared it, I assume, because he was proud of it. But it was like a girl in like a very like colorful but skimpy, like, I don't know, outfit, like it was almost made out of clear plastic or something. And she was twirling, but the twirl was weird because it was like her back, and then she turned and it was like her back was on her front, and then it was her back was on her back again.
I had a few shots
like, dude, this isn't the own that you think it is. You don't see that you've just created a Lovecraftian horror.
Right. Yeah, no, there was I had a shot of Ada Wong doing a spin move, and one of them works, but the other one, her arm morphs away, pops back out. There's all this weird stuff. So yeah,
you just have to play with it until you get it right. So and I mean, like that I primarily use AI for some, like, basically I take a drawing that I've made, and sometimes I'll send, like, for one character, I sent like a front, side, and back view. I said, take all 3 of these so that it doesn't like take any liberties, and then make me, you know, like an image or like a video of this person walking, and it would still get it wrong. Like, it would still, because it would make assumptions about what it is that it has. So, but yeah, you just got to work with it. So,
but you know, like even today's thumbnail, the Karen logo that's in there, I could have spent 5 hours rotoscoping that whole fucking thing out. Tedious work, and I used to do it all the time, but now, quite literally, my EV Mux studio, I can just take still images in there and just hit remove background, and it goes.
Sweet. Oh yeah, dude, that
saves me 5 hours of work to do the
exact.
So so you know, in that instance, I did the thumbnail for tonight's show, or today's show, last night, in under half an hour, and that was from me saying, oh, I need to get this taken care of. To I went and I found the official trailer of the game, clipped a few scenes out of there that were like possible kind of good stills, and then just waited for the title screen to pop up, grabbed that screenshot, went and dropped the one image in. It looked perfectly centered already. So then I just went and it took me less than half an hour to do everything and send it to you. So you know, people who complain about AI tools,
as always, your thumbnails rock, and they're super helpful.
You know, I do what I can around here, but yeah, it's a tool. You know, it's
for sure.
You still have to have artistic sensibilities to use them correctly. So
yeah, exactly. All right, so let me say hello to you guys, and then we're going to get into the stories. But real briefly, we're going to be talking about Marathon. We're going to talk about High Guard. We're going to talk about Leon Kennedy because there's something about that was really funny. Obviously, we're going to talk about Karen, the new video game that's been announced. I have some thoughts on it that I don't think a lot of people have brought up, and more. So stick around. Please hit that like button so that I can possibly reach more people. And I'm going to say hello to the chat really quick, and then we're going to get into the stories. So what's up to Norwegian Black Templar, Mr. 0303, Art Fours, John Ford, Deadly Do Right, Murder of Crows, Master Goa, Svartzin says, hello, you stupid human beings. Well, thank you. We are all stupid in our own way. And let me see what you guys have said. I saw some suggestions. Norwegian Black Templar says Freakazoid, but Honey Badger Arcade, like the Freakazoid's theme song. I don't know how it goes. I can't remember. Do you remember? I have to look it up.
Vaguely. I mean, we're talking like quarter of a century ago now.
I mean, I could do Animaniacs for the intro too. The Animaniacs song. Master Goa says I vote synthwave as well. Yeah, so like visually, my channel is kind of synthwavy because I've always had. I mean, I'm a kid from the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was born in the early 70s. I was a child through the 80s. That's my aesthetic. Like, I love that stuff. I don't even think the current synthwave kind of, vaporwave aesthetic quite captures all the crazy shit we had in the 80s, like in terms of like the visuals. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember laser unicorns and shit. Like, it was just super cool, weird stuff. There was this one video game. I'm sorry, I gotta mention this really quick. There was this one video game. It was in the arcades, and I want to see if any of you guys, if you're old enough, might remember this. It was one of the first games that had something that resembled 3D graphics. So there was this one game before. It was called Mach 3. Does anybody remember Mach 3? It was like a jet fighter shooting game, and what you had, you had a pixeled jet or spaceship or something, and it was would turn and stuff with mode 7 scaling, so it gave that illusion of sort of 3D, and then it was flying on an actual filmed landscape. So you'd have it wasn't like real graphics. It was more like it was like a Laserdisc thing, right. Kind of around the time that Dragon's Lair was out, and it was very popular because it looked so real for the time period. Like, you're flying through canyons and you're shooting at stuff, but all of the background is not, it's not like the game itself, right? It's just sort of there, almost like projected on. And then but after that, there was this racing game, and you were in this weird vaporwave, synthetic future with neon everywhere, and you're sort of you have to avoid it was I don't remember what it was called, but it was so cool looking. It was way before Wipeout or any of these other racing games came out. And I can't remember what it was called. So if anybody knows what I'm talking about, I know I'm not giving a good description. It was one of those games that was 50 cents to play, which was absolute robbery because most games were a quarter.
Right.
And I remember that one, but anyway, let's see what else you guys are saying. Norwegian says new Spider-Man theme, but the lyrics are culture wars, radioactive culture wars. That's not a new Spider-Man theme. That's the original one. Indeed. That's the original one. Master Goa says Vivian gaming to synthwave should be part of the intro. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that I would put her all in it, and maybe with cameos from the Doge and other sort of relevant bits of the whole Gamergate thing, right? But yes, absolutely, it would be Vivian would be central to it. And I got something about Vivian that you might like to know in just a second. Master Goa says Seed Dance 2 is the current king of AI video generation. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I it sounds like you have to pay for it, but I've seen some really impressive Seed Dance video. That was the one where they had Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise in a martial arts fight, right?
Yep.
On a rooftop. Yeah. Let's see. The 90s Spider-Man theme was done by Aerosmith's guitarist, I believe. The 90s one. Oh, the one that was the episode. Oh, you're talking about when you mention the Culture Wars thing, Norwegian, you're talking about the 90s Spider-Man, which actually could work for that too. Okay. Sega made a 3D FMV arcade game called Time Traveler. I remember that. I remember that one. Yeah, we're thinking about two different themes. I know what you mean now, Norwegian. But you see how the lyrics could go with either one? Yeah, I was thinking more like the old jazzy one from the 60s. I don't know why. All right, well, anyway, with that said, let's get into the story. So first, I want to show you guys something. And it just so happened that I came across this on my X feed by one of the people who was following me that I didn't know made video games. So they made an announcement, sort of like they put their game on Steam. It's called Super Dino Story. Mm-hmm. And it is, very much an indie game, but I'm shouting him out because, and I mean, I don't know what like good my shout outs are. I know this is a really, really small channel, but I'm shouting him out because he does feature Vivian and Amelia in his game. He recently added them. So Super Dino Story, explore, shoot, jetpack, and bird your way across colorful and dangerous worlds to stop the evil Pallid who's stolen your gold. Meet many hilarious characters and enjoy silly dynamic cutscenes that force you to think outside the box. And it is a challenging little indie game. So I'm going to show you guys. So there's Amelia. So he recently added Amelia and what he calls Vivi, but it's obviously Vivian James to the game. So this is like what I've been wanting for a long time. I wanted a game that had Vivian James in it. So I'm going to show you all this trailer. And let me know, can you hear this okay?
Yeah. We're good.
So there's Amelia. It's like a platformer. It's like a puzzle platformer. You get abilities and you can use them to access new areas. And I've been playing it off and on. It's a very small game. You can get it on itch.io, or at least he has a page there. But I would say if you're interested, pick it up on Steam. It's $10.
Nice.
You just go to character and then switch them to Vivian or Amelia or whoever you want, and then play the game. So yeah, Super Dino Story. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but I would say check it out. Dino Storm is all right. I didn't know he made video games, so now I do, and I'm actually going to ask him. I think that like if we can like tweak the artwork, it could really be something special. So maybe I can help him with that. I don't know what you guys think, but John, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, it's definitely a nice little sign of the times. The cultural relevance of Amelia, I think, has kind of reignited Vivian James to some degree as well, because she's like the original alt-based girl, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, she's like the daughter of 4chan, I think, or right. They have different ways of looking at it, but. Okay, so yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Again, check it out. Super Dino Storm. It's on sale for $9.59. Normally it's like $13, so I was wrong, or $12. So I was wrong about that. And support Dino Storm because he's obviously like, if you play the game, you'll see that there's some nods to other topics. Like you run into a boss that's a duck, and the duck is male and it's trying to lay an egg, and you basically. You tell the duck, like, you can't lay eggs because you're male, and the duck attacks you, so just
right.
Think about that. Like that, it's definitely saying something, right? All right. So anyway, so I look forward to your thoughts on Dino Story. Shout out to Dino Storm. Okay, let's move on. So we're going to get into the first story now. We're going to talk about Marathon. So Marathon, Bungie's long-awaited revival of their classic sci-fi series, dropped just 2 days ago on March 5th as a $40 extraction shooter. Think of it as a PvPvE that drops on Tau Ceti 4, which is like the planet it's on, where runners loot, fight, and extract under neon skies. Early buzz was huge. Slick art direction, Bungie's pedigree from Halo and Destiny. Well, that's mainly what it was riding on, was like Bungie's pedigree from Halo and Destiny, plus free seasonal updates already rolling out. But launch numbers tell a different story. Steam peaked around 88,000 players. I was looking at the numbers earlier today. which is okay, but not really like a blockbuster, right?
Right.
And these numbers could drop very suddenly. So especially after, you know, Concord and Highguard, which we'll talk about later, flopped hard of player retention. So it's hard to say right now, like to call whether or not it's going to be a giant failure or a success, but it honestly doesn't look good, because even if it just stays around the 100,000 player mark, I don't think that's enough to sustain it for like long term, because, you know, this game I think is supposed to be sort of like live service, which means it's going to need a player base in order to support it, right? So if you like extraction games, but I mean, this is like a crowded market, and there's a lot of them that are already free to play, right?
Right.
So this is also, it's difficult. I think it's a hard sell to like try and get people to buy Marathon for $40. Either way, though, right now the jury is out, and I'm being I'm trying to be very fair. So, but anyway, what do you think the future of Marathon is? It just launched. About 80,000 people are playing. So.
You know, the future for Marathon is it's an interesting kind of situation with this game, because you know, it did come out as you said with kind of high marks based on the pedigree and the legacy, but then shortly thereafter there was the controversy of them utilizing other people's artwork and all that kind of stuff that definitely took a big hit in terms of the optics of what this is. It's related to a title that is 30-ish years old, that doesn't really seem to have really much going on with this other than they share the same name. Sony spent $3.6 billion in the acquisition of Bungie. So the amount of copies they would actually have to legitimately sell is like 116 million or some crazy fucking number. That's just like, I don't even know if there's that many people who own PS5s at this point in time, and from what it's done on Steam, hasn't even hit 100,000 you know, players since its release time. I guess the thing it's got going for it is as crowded as the you know, these kinds of arena shooter games marketplace
it's an extraction shooter, PvPvE, I guess. So yeah,
but you know, I guess you know, Highguard did it a favor by getting right out of the way and dying quickly.
That's one thing out of the way, right?
Yeah, it's one less thing to compete against, but you're already entering into a crowded market space that most people, if they're into that kind of gaming, they've already got
theirs.
Yeah, they've already and they're already so bought in.
Isn't that what Arc Raiders is?
Right. Yeah. So there's so many things already that, you know, it's a crapshoot trying to get into online service games to begin with. And at this late stage of it, at this point in time, you know, unless you're really doing something that is focused on a concept to begin with, and then the online service aspect is just you know, part of that, you know, thing that you're actually trying to do, then, you know, you might have a little bit more leeway, because it's actually going to have some substance. But if you're just doing this as, oh well, we just want to run in that, you know, in the live service marketplace because that's the thing, you're way too late on this. Like the writing's been on the wall for how the online service games actually, you know, grow or don't since Anthem, and that's like a decade ago now. You know, it's like it's a very precarious thing to come up with something that people are actually going to want to get into to this level, and this many years into that space, it's very slim pickings, and you can't just do it just based on, oh, we've got this pedigree at this point in time. It's gamers in the last few years have become very discerning on what they're willing to attach their time and money to.
Yeah, especially if they're going to spend like $40 on it. I mean, you know, and I mean, it's probably a solid game. Like, you know, Bungie does have a pretty decent track record,
right?
But that might not be enough, because, like, for the most part, people, I think, well, first of all, yes, the extraction shooter is really, like, there's a lot of those out there, and most of them are, you know, they're failed, or they have like a really small sort of like, you know, a really small following of players, like maybe devoted ones, but a small one nonetheless, right? I just played one that was like anime style, like Fortnite / extraction shooter, and there was nobody on, so it was like I was fighting bots, but I was just checking it out because I think it was free, and I was like, oh fuck it, you know, or there was a demo. That's what it was. So the game's not fully out yet. It was like in beta or something. But like when you take that and you also look at, like I said, games like Arc Raiders, which is huge. I think Andy Pants, you know, Dean, who I've had on the show before in the past, he's been he's been talking to Andy Pants Gaming, who has been, you know, taking an interest in it. I know that the guy Burnt Peanut is like a really big Arc Raiders guy, very popular. So I know Arc Raiders is a very popular game. And then, you know, there's games like Helldivers 2 is still going. People still play it. It's an extraction shooter. Deep Rock Galactic, which somebody in the chat mentioned, still playing it. You know, effectively another extraction shooter, right? Like you go in and you're up against the environment and you have to, like, you know, accomplish some goals and then get out, right? And those games have been around for years. So, I think that the reason is because, you know, you get with some friends and you all get the game together and then you go and play it together, right? Or you meet people in the game, and that becomes like your thing that you do with those people. So unless you're going to get all of those people on board with something else, you're probably just going to keep doing that, especially if that game that you already bought is getting support, right? Like they're still adding things to it. They're still adding content, and, you know, maybe, and most of the time it's free content. Like, you know, with Helldivers, they're constantly adding, you know, war bonds, and like there's missions, and like the conditions change, the factions change, new enemies show up. And so there's always something. It's like a living world, right? And they do a really good job of that. So again, I'm not saying Marathon can't be great. I don't even have anything against it, right? But I think that it's operating under I think what is a poor assumption, which is that no one wants to play single player experiences. Everyone wants to play these kind of, like, you know, extraction shooters and live service games. And I think that, like, the recent, you know, game releases have sort of proven that that's not necessarily true, that people do want to play, you know, single player experiences. Somebody tried to claim that that Marathon was going to outsell Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil. Didn't happen, guys. I already showed you all. The peak players, 88,337. Not terrible, but not great, especially considering how much that was probably spent to make the game and to develop the game and support the game. Again, I don't know how much went into it, but if it's like Destiny or Destiny 2, was it Destiny 2, or is it just, like all of the support that the Destiny games got, that allowed it to last for a very long time. Oh, and unfortunately, a lot of these games that are not bad games on paper, they get killed by this stuff. They get killed by bad timing, and also by not really being aware of the market. So
that and they don't really, aside from aesthetics.
Allah is dick. Allah said eat pork. Okay, I'm not ignoring you, but you're saying some really weird stuff. So, but I gave you attention. Okay. All right. Let's move on.
But yeah, aside from the aesthetics, you know, a lot of these games, from a mechanic standpoint, are pretty similar. So if you've already invested in one, what's the point of going and just, you know, switching just for the sake of a new paint job, effectively? No one's doing that.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, you know, I hate to break it to people if you're Bungie fans, but I don't think that this one is going to pan out for them.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a good thing they named it Marathon, because they have a long march ahead of them to, you know, reaching anything close to profitability.
Well, again, I think that it's just like they didn't read the room correctly. They made assumptions about, you got to listen to the players, man.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. You got to listen to the players.
In recent years, you know, with all the goodwill that they may have had, everything like that, the way that they handled Destiny as a property, you know, I think that there's been a lot of loss in goodwill and the fan base. Like, guys, I know there's still people that still play Destiny, but if they ever start looking into what the lore is that's based around it and all this kind of stuff, it's they completely undermined that game with that stupid lore website where it's like, I just want to play a game. I don't care about all this weird trans, humanist insanity that and all this stuff. So yeah, Bungie is just a label at this point in time, unfortunately. I don't think that it really.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if the same people, because it's Bungie, but that doesn't mean all the same guys are there, right? It's like Blizzard, like the team is not there.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's true of Bungie though. It might be. But anyway, let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. I'm gonna look at some of your comments and then we're gonna move on to the next story. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's not looking good for Marathon. I feel like they're not long for this world. Okay, so Misro 303 says, I have two things against it: Sony and Bungie. Murder of Crow says it's totally a once bitten, twice shy situation and scale to the game's price. Also these days, yeah, that's another thing too. Like, you guys, I'm not saying $40 is unreasonable, but you have to again consider like, how much people are willing to spend on one of these, and also like what else is out there, because there's a lot of free to play ones that are probably pretty solid.
Yeah. And when you're marketing a live service game, you are marketing it to entire communities rather than just individuals. So it's one thing to get someone to take an interest in your game. It's a whole other thing to be like, oh, well, not only do you have to make sure that I have interest in this game, but you have to make sure that I have enough interest in this game that I can get my friends interested in this game as well, or that they are being hit by the same interest at the same time. That is a difficult thing to do, trying to bring in 4 or 5 people at a time, basically.
Grim Heartless in the vertical chat, hello Grim, says, can we admit that the server slam showed that not many people wanted to try it? PoE2, that's Pillars of Eternity 2, I guess, and other server slams had way more players, almost double. Yeah, I mean, again, I think that that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that there's a lot of hype, but it's not really showing in the numbers. So, and Marathon might be a really good game. Like I said, even Concord, I said the mechanics look solid. The problem is it was ugly. And I think the same is true of Marathon. I think that it's ugly, like the color scheme and everything. The art direction is awful. Like, the characters look like, I don't know, they look like weird, like they look like they would want to read books in a library to your children. That's what they look like. They look like weird Troon demons.
Yes.
With guns. That's what they look like. And so when people see that, they're going to have this reaction like, why would I play that? Especially because I think all the character art I've seen from Marathon featured characters that were at least trying to look female, which is another, people are basically having like a gut reaction to that now, where they see female protagonists are like, I don't know, it's giving me like, Horizon Zero Dawn vibes, even though I don't think that's necessarily fair, because there's lots of great games that have female protagonists, but you can't blame the player base for having that gut reaction. I don't, So Gabriel says Marathon needs to fix its cluttered UI and obnoxious color scheme. Van Bao GB23 says WYF. I don't know what WYF is. Is Y next to the
T? Yeah.
Okay. Oops. Then he says Bungie game Destiny 2. Yes, I from China. Oh, okay. John, well, please don't report me to Winnie the Pooh. John Ford says Bungie is also a type of cord. That's a Concord? No. Again, I don't want people's lives to be destroyed by this, but it is what it is. Again, read the room, guys. So I don't think people want another extraction shooter, and I think the numbers are bearing that out because they already have that. They want something else. So anyway, with that said, thanks guys for your commentary and everything. And again, please hit like so that more people see the stream. I appreciate it. And we're going to move on to the next story. So let's talk a little bit about Resident Evil Requiem. Now, why? Well, I just thought there was something really interesting. that happened. So Resident Evil Requiem dropped February 27th, and it is crushing big sales, rave reviews. And again, it proves a couple things. What you fooling? It proves a couple things. One is that people do want to play single player games because that's what it is. It's a single player experience. It's not just riding on the Resident Evil name, although, you know, Resident Evil has been doing a lot better in recently. I think that, you know, there have been like some stumbles, like Resident Evil 3 Remake was pissed a lot of people off. Then there was the weird multiplayer one that came packed in that nobody played. And you know, like any developer, I'm not against people trying new things, but just sometimes it doesn't pan out that way. But what's interesting about this isn't any of that stuff, which, you know, like Lindsay, actually my wife, she asked me, she was like, are you gonna buy the new Resident Evil? And I was like, well, maybe later. Like, you know, I just have a lot on my plate and I just didn't want to spend the money. Not that I have anything against it, because I played Village, but I did later, like at least a year or so later. And the same thing for the Resident Evil 4 remake. Like, I love those games because I have a lot of love for that franchise, but I wasn't like in a hurry to get the new thing. And she said, well, I'll buy it for you because I want to play it, but I don't want to play it. I want you to play it.
Right.
So she bought it for me, and I've been playing it, you know, a little at a time when we have some time and we're like together. And, you know, I enjoy it. It is a solid game. And they went back to like more of like the survival horror part of it, because, you know, the Resident Evil franchise, it does get a little bit more action movie-ish towards later entries. But this one is a little bit of a split. Like, so there's like parts where you play as Grace, which is the female character they introduced. And that's way more survival horror. Like, she's not good with a gun. She trembles, you know, and it's really, they do a good job of like, getting that across. And more of her gameplay is that there's a lot of more like puzzles and like inventory management, which I appreciate because that's sort of a throwback to the old Resident Evil games. And then when you play as Leon, it's more like, you know, in line with Resident Evil 4 or 5, not 6, because that's like a Michael Bay movie, but like 4 and 5, I'd say it's in there, right? Where, you know, or even like Mercenaries, like where, you know, and which I've been wanting to play Mercenaries after playing this game. It made me want to go back and play Mercenaries, and some of the other games. Like, I never played Revelations, and I always wanted, like, I played Revelations 2 a little bit, but I always wanted to get into those games because I never played them. So I know that they're like mobile. I think the first one is a mobile game that they ported, but it doesn't look bad, and it's like getting the full context of the story, you know. So I might check that out. But anyway, that's not what this is about. Okay, what this is that what's interesting is Leon Kennedy is basically getting thirsted on all over the place by female players and some men. And they're losing it. TikToks, Reddit threads, and even Capcom's own women developers are obsessing over this, like, you know, grizzled hot uncle Leon Kennedy. And basically he's like a thirst trap. Streamers are swooning. I mean, I could have found a video of a woman or a girl who was playing the game, and maybe it's just said to go viral or whatever, but it's really interesting because, you know, how long have we been told that, you know, female characters that are a little too attractive are somehow really problematic? Like, like this is going to be an issue, right? Ivy from Soul Calibur is a classic example of people losing it. Here's Eve from, you know, Stellar Blade, which I remember them saying, "Oh my God, this is such a throwback to the old days of misogynoir and all of that." And I can give you countless examples. Even Samus, you know, gets that treatment as well. But of course, when it's a male character, then it's all good, and women can just, you know, just basically thirst all over them. And I mean, not that this is surprising, but I thought, again, it was an interesting paradigm there that's being exposed. So,
I mean, it's no real difference to how they do everything they can to cover up women in movies, but then, like, you know, say like within the MCU specifically, but then they make sure they have the cheesecake scene of Chris Hemsworth, you completely buck ass naked in the last one of those movies. The
I
Two
never
Cucks, one,
saw the movie, but
yeah,
you're talking about
Two Hammers,
Love
One
and
Cuck.
Thunder.
Yeah,
Love and Thunder.
yeah. But but that's just the double standard.
Well, but I think there's a purpose to it though, because there is like a revenge. Like they think that if they do it, men are going to get as upset about that as women get upset about men admiring attractive women.
No,
but generally,
I actually appreciate
I
when they
don't
do
care
it.
that you thirst over a fictional dude in a video game. I really don't care.
Yeah, I appreciate when it's done actually, because it's like, well, you're just proving that people have
that you're demonstrating
people,
biology,
so.
Basically.
Right. Thank you for proving my point for me. Yeah. It is interesting though, the way that they do try to phrase anything that men are doing is toxic, and women are just being empowered. It's important for them to be able to have a daddy in a game that they can thirst over.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the thing too. It just kind of like shows that women are no better, if not worse, than men about this stuff. I think worse. Like, I mean, we've seen the data. Women, especially this youngest generation of women, are the most, let's say, the most likely to not give a shit about a man's boundaries or even other women's boundaries. We've seen what's happened. I don't know if I talked about it on this channel, but what's happened at like these romantasy conventions. Have you heard about this?
I can't say that I have. No.
You know what romantasy is? Or dark fantasy books?
I can't say that I know 100%.
Not like for men. For men, that's like Berserk and stuff. No, I mean like for women. So they're usually romance books that involve like, I guess, darker themes, but that usually have like, it's like Twilight,
Right.
Twilight's not the example, but I think it sort of started that trend, or was one of the things that moved that trend. And so you got like stories of like 10,000-year-old vampires with like washboard abs that take women, and ravage them and stuff, and women get really into this stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I used to sell those
there's often like really kinky shit in there.
Yeah,
and so like they have conventions for these, and sometimes you'll have people who are the men who are models for the book covers, or they may have done like the audiobook readings.
Right.
And they'll show up and they're like, attractive, like models. And the women they'll just attack them. Like they'll mob on the guy. It's basically just like, and again, this isn't like a new thing, because, if you were like a famous rock star, like the Beatles or Elvis, you had to, run and hide from women. Like female fans would literally tear you to pieces if they got their hands on you. And there's examples of that stuff happening now. And my point is that, if we don't understand that this is natural, like not what women are doing, I think that's insane, but like the attraction to the opposite sex when they look good, like good looking characters or people, is natural. And to try and shame that away, first of all, it's impossible, but also it's wrong, because ultimately, like, we are human and this is what we do.
Yeah, so, it's dehumanizing to sit here and try to deny that which is human, like.
Yeah. And on the flip side, I'll say that some people have said that Grace was made intentionally unattractive. I disagree with that. I think that she is like she's she's not Ada Wong, but she's not ugly. She's basically like she's supposed to be like a book nerd kind of person.
She's a little bit nebbish. I mean, her
she's
characterization reinforces her game mechanics and things like that. Like, this is supposed to be a fully realized character, and so it's she's not supposed to be like a strong.
She's not Eve or Ivy, and it's okay. I like, that's one thing I notice is sometimes what some gamers or people online think that an attractive character should be is like and they kind of put them in a box, like, where like they have to have these dimensions, and I think that that's a bit too limited in scope. Like, you can have petite attractive women, you can have bigger attractive women. Like, you want, like, if we're just using Resident Evil as an example, or Street Fighter, like you want a Cammy and a Chun-Li. They're not the same, right? and Sakura, like whatever, right? So she's not Jill, right? But I mean, some people they like Jill, some people like Claire. A lot of people like Claire. Actually, I think Claire is like underserved. Some people like Helena from Resident Evil 6. Some people like Ada Wong. Some people like Ashley from Resident Evil 4. You know, I'm more of a Sheva man. I like Sheva, but
indeed,
you know, or I mean, if I put it in a wheelhouse that you might better understand, there's like different female characters in the Metal Gear franchise.
Yeah,
and they're not the same person, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Like, what's the chick with the Sniper Wolf? That was my girl back in the day.
Yeah.
But, Helena was up there for me. Yeah, she was. That pantsuit, though. Let's see what you guys are saying. Norwegian says, does she yell Leon help? No, they're not. Leon! They're not in this is a single player game, but there's, as far as I know, I haven't gotten to this point yet. It's not like they're moving through the story together in the same way that you did with Ashley and RE4. This is more like it was in the old Resident Evils, like specifically more like 2, where, you know, you play as Leon for a while, and then you play as Ashley for a while, and their paths cross in the same way that Leon and Claire's paths would cross.
Right.
So it's more like that. Let's see what do you want to say anything about this, John, or you already said your piece?
I think pretty much.
Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. Gabriel says, thoroughbred mediocrity. It won't hold to scrutiny in the coming years. There's already a few critiques amongst the sea of glazers. Grace's section starts strong with some interesting enemy behaviors, but Leon's long section is mostly zombies and aimless wandering with no sound arena design, a lot of member berries moments. Oh, well, you already played it and finished it, or just watched a playthrough? Don't spoil anything, because I'm actually enjoying it. I'm still playing Ashley right now, or not? Ashley. That's her. No, it's not Ashley. It's Grace. I'm getting them mixed up. How am I doing that? Murder of Crows says, good. They can all STFU now. Autistic Helicopter says, start the game. I'm not gaming. This is a news show where we talk about games. If you want to see my game streams, I'll be playing Fallout New Vegas on, I believe it's Tuesday. So,
Generally, in the morning.
Duke Silver Trey says, Zam. I don't know what that means. Norwegian says, women can shut up about gooning after Morning Glory milking farm. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. Nobafan says, for $1, thank you, Nobafan. He gives us $1 Rumble rant and says, I got it. Let's make only ugly prawn of women, and then all the men need to pretend the ugly women are perfect goon material. Have reverse psychology. Yes, that's how you do it. Norwegian says, Chris Boulder Punch, Redfield is going to be real upset that Leon didn't expand the Redfield family. I don't know what people are. This is another thing that women do, because this is like mostly women doing this. This is exactly what happened with Kylo Ren and Rey. They get really mad that Leon didn't end up with whoever they thought he was supposed to.
Right.
And so for them, it's like, I don't know what the truth is. I know he's wearing a wedding ring in the game, so we know he's married, I guess. But I don't know. I haven't seen like to who, but some people are saying it's what's her name from RE2? What am I forgetting? Is it Birkin? Is that the name? She was in Resident Evil 6, teamed up with the son of Wesker, but I'm forgetting her name. And some people are saying it's her, but like she was like a child in Resident Evil 2, but he was like 21. I don't know. So, but I don't, you know, I don't like that either. Like when there's like every character is like ends up with another character in the same little bubble. It's too neat in terms of storytelling stuff. I don't think it should be Ada though. I think that Ada should remain like sort of like off limits. Like she's like, you know, kind of like Catwoman for Batman. Like that, it should never happen, but it should always be teased, you know?
Right. Tension's good, but the payoff would kind of ruin it. It's kind of like, you know, what David Lynch was always talking about with the mystery of Twin Peaks. Once you solve
Sherry Birkin, that's it. Sherry Birkin. I'm sorry. Go ahead. John,
well, I was just saying, it's like, yeah, you don't. The thing with the shippers, it's like your want for it is actually what is intended. The payoff should never be done, because then it's never going to be what anybody wants it to be. So it's better to have the desire and the mystery rather than the answer or a solution sitting right in front of you, kind of removing any possibility. So
Marin Rabarik says, you think Chris got married? Nah, he's MGTOW. He's ready to die. He's there just to exterminate bioweapons. That's how he's gonna live his entire life.
That's right.
That's my guy. I'm a Chris stan. I like Chris Redfield. He's my man. I like Leon too, don't get me wrong, but I think Leon gets a little bit too much. Like, I don't know, he's a little too, like, he's too pretty. He's too, like, much of a pretty boy, and Chris is more like salt of the earth, so I like him more.
Right.
Chris married Gabriel says Chris married the boulder. Fired 32 rocklings. Chris posting to the end. Yeah. Anyway, so I just, it's funny. Women are perverts, and I think that's funny. So it's good to bring them down to earth with the rest of us. It's okay, ladies. It's okay.
That's right.
You can be a gooner. Just admit it. It's fine. All right. Let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. We're gonna move on to the next topic. Okay. Whew. Highguard is dead.
Yes.
So, Highguard Wildlight's free-to-play hero shooter, and lasted what? It lasted about a month. A little over a month. It launched on January 26th. No.
Yes.
Yeah, a little over a month.
Yeah. January 26th was the day and date of it's going live. Yeah. So
yeah, exactly.
6 weeks, roughly, like 42 days or some shit like that.
Yep. And it tanked hard. Devs admitted finally that they could not hold a sustainable player base, dropping over 80%. Now servers are going dark on March 12th, barely 45 days in, with one last patch dropping soon. Why would you even make a patch? I guess they already have it. They're like, well, let's just release the patch.
We did the work, man. Come on. I'm just,
it's the latest live service casualty, outliving Concord by about a month. So it did outlive Concord. It was the second biggest fail.
Right.
So, I mean, that's it. Highguard is done. It's over. So, we barely knew ye. Do you have any thoughts on that, John?
Yeah, it will officially have its final day on the 12th this coming week. I think that we all could see everything about this. That from the outset, it's something just didn't seem right. And when you realize that this was ultimately a game that was made by offshore devs, basically, and everybody that was supposedly working at Wildlight was just a development manager for the offshore development that was actually legitimately going on. Like
they were getting money from NetEase, right?
Yeah,
NetEase pulled their funding. I think I mentioned that last week.
Well, yeah,
they were like, "Oh, these not working. We pull money."
Yeah, so yeah, this whole thing was completely a hollow shell from the jump. Jeff Keighley sitting here trying to say, "Oh no, it's just a game I really like." It's like, no. Guy who works at Tencent works as part of the oversight for the Game Awards. All this stuff. It's just and as good as the Game Awards was this year, which we yesterday on Wills we watched the real Game Awards, which talk about a fall from grace from their thing that they did last year to this next year. But the Game Awards all but had a perfect show, and then when it got to that very last, here's the big trailer of the night, and it ends up being for this thing. It's like, what's going on here? And you come to find out that this thing is just a hollow shell that was basically done to try to monopolize on trends that we previously mentioned with Marathon are long since played out, and it's just it lasted longer than expected, but also still within the same halo of lifespan that Concord has. That Concord's the bigger failure, just simply because of all the billions of everything, the $1 billion investment that went into it for it to basically die within 2 weeks of launching. 10 days, if I remember correctly. So it's basically $100 million a day of actual playtime for all the years of development that got wasted. It's absolutely hilarious. I mean, this isn't as financially catastrophic, but it is just another message to AAA gaming spaces that you gotta rethink how you're doing this. You can't just throw money at everything and expect some flash kind of marketing to work and just, oh, look at the title, isn't it such great font work and all this? No, this is all hollow. Like, nobody cares. This game is, oh man, it there's a lesson to be learned here, but I don't think the appropriate people who need to learn the lesson are going to, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a little bit last week. I watched a video by a developer that used to work. I think she worked in Microsoft. I could be wrong, but she explained that it was hubris because they presumed that they were going to be able to use the clout of having worked on games like Apex Legends and Titanfall. That this was just going to catapult them. Like, oh, it's the guys that made Titanfall.
Right.
But what they should have done was, what we talked about before, they should have released a beta. They should have done a beta, then done maybe a closed beta, took some feedback, then did an open beta, took some more feedback, then made some changes, and then based on that, released the game and figure out the price point and everything else. But they didn't. They just put it out. And I think when Jeff Keighley signs off on something or gives it his blessing, I think it's more of a curse. I mean, it does what it looks like, because a lot of people are pretty cynical about him and the Game Awards. How it's basically turned into the Oscars for games, which is just another place where people could virtue signal and they can, again, in terms of what was showcased, there was some good stuff, but in terms of like the event on its own, because you could see those trailers anywhere, it was probably something that a lot of people just didn't want to watch. Right. So because it's becoming that same kind of like Hollywood celebrity culture. So if Mark Ruffalo recommends something to me, I'm gonna ignore it.
Right.
Fuck you. Like, if Giancarlo Esposito says, hey, you should pick up the new Far Cry, I'm like, nah,
I'm good.
Yeah, especially because you're saying I should do it.
Right.
So yeah, the curse of the Dorito Pope, exactly. So, I mean, again, not surprising. We talked about it, but it is unfortunate for those guys because, again, these people, they have families to feed and stuff. But, better luck next time. Hopefully, you guys will pick up the pieces. Maybe do something smaller if you can get back out there and actually like assess what people are doing. Because like now, the thing is that there's so many people getting involved in game development because let's say the bar to entry is so low. That it is going to be like a massive market, and that means that there's going to be a lot of losers. I mean, like most people are going to be losers. It's like trying to open a restaurant in like a city of nothing but restaurants.
Right.
Like you're going to have something that no one's ever tried before. So, all right. But anyway, let me see what you guys are saying about this one in the comments, and let me look at some of your comments as well. So, Diddley Do Right gives $1 and says, Ada is supposed to be the forbidden fruit. If you eat it, you will fall. Thank you. Yes, you're not supposed to have that. You're supposed to want that.
Right.
Master Goa, you guys are talking about Leon, how Leon went from cop to special forces commando. Yeah, but like it's been a few years, and I don't know. I mean, the roundhouse kicks in Resident Evil 4 are just awesome, but I prefer Chris's straight up punches to the jaw. So that's just me. And I like that but I do like that they treat them both differently. And that's one thing I do appreciate. And it's a Japanese company. Like they're going to put anime shit in their game, even if they're not trying to.
Right.
Okay, but anyway. Let's see. Unknown RT5HF in the, I assume this is the vertical chat, says, God bless you. God bless you too, man. Mr. 303 says that's Baldur's Gate's bear on the right. Yes, it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think that's the bear is Halsin. He's like one of the characters you can get in your group in Baldur's Gate. But anyway. Murder of Crow says the devs were gaslit into going harder with their Mobeta woke just so they could fail and go under or get bought up for 10 cent on the dollar. 10 cent on the dollar. Get it? She is totally gonna take over gaming. Yeah, only because we're not competing hard enough and we're listening to the wrong people. And also because of the woke shit too. That's like, notice that the Chinese market doesn't have woke shit in it. Yeah. I know that there was a story I was going to bring up where a bunch of like Chinese feminists were protesting Chinese games. I don't know like if that's actually going to come up with anything. I'm not sure. It may, but it's interesting that they're not doing it, but we are doing it. And sure, a lot of why we're doing it is because of Chinese government funded propaganda on TikTok that's actually like affecting people, but we're the ones falling for it. Like, I mean, our people are. So, like, what are we going to do? We have to, like, wake people out of it, right? I can't blame them for using every weapon in their arsenal to try to defeat the American or the Western markets. And if one of those things is feminism, then they're going to do it. And what we got to do is we got to tell these feminists to shut the fuck up, right? Yeah. And, like, fight back.
Right. So, and that is another interesting aspect to this when you kind of get beyond the surface layers, is the way that China is handicapping Western development with their influence, right? Yeah. Almost effectively, this is warmongering. They're going and making sure that their competitors, i.e., Western development, through their influence, put out worse games full of all the stuff that people don't really want, and then for the things that they put out through their Eastern development houses, they don't have all that. So they're effectively, kind of gaming the market itself, so that whether you're supporting them through their successful games or not supporting these games that were done kind of to poison the well, they're still winning off of it ultimately, because it goes and it puts bad marks on Western development, and at the same time gives more of a goodwill towards those Eastern developed titles that don't do this shit. But the people that are behind both outputs are the same people that are there at the input, and they're specifically doing it in a way to this is a psyop of sorts, and so yeah, it is kind of interesting when you kind of look at what is actually happening in the gaming market by so many companies allowing themselves to be infiltrated with offshore Eastern development houses doing a lot of the work and things like that, because and taking their money and doing the things that they're reassuring them, oh yes, this is good idea. They have a vested interest in you failing, so like they might be bamboozling you, just little thing to consider, Western game developers.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what else you guys are saying. Robert Johnson says, reminder, Sony paid $3.6 billion to acquire Bungie. Ooh, they're definitely gonna be laying off Bungie people. They're gonna be laying off a lot of them.
Oh, most stuff.
They already closed down Blue Point Studios, which I thought was a mistake, but yeah, I don't know. They're going to be laying off some people. John Ford says more live service slop. Yeah. High Guard is done. It's cooked, bro.
Yep.
Mr. 303 says the Dorito Pope's curse is terrifying. Yes. Yeah. Please, please do not recommend my game.
Right. He's almost Sanochu level of curse at this point.
Oh man, so cursed. Okay, so let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. We're gonna move on to the next story. So we're gonna talk about this game coming out called Karen. Have you guys heard about this? All right, so I saw that, I think it was like Side Scrollers did a reaction to this. I saw the trailer for this and I thought it was funny, but I think there's an elephant in the room that no one's seems to have brought up. I want to watch this and I want to know what you guys think that is wrong with this. So this is a new indie game coming out by Saw Studios, titled Karen. The summary is the mall denied your refund. Now you're going to make them pay with slaps, shoves, and sheer entitlement. This is the physics-driven rage simulator where you get to do way more than speak to a manager. Retail hell just got a new overlord, you. Now, of course, this could be good for actual Karens to blow off steam after they're,
right.
They get like bad service. They can come home and do this. But
it would be the safer.
This is not a meme. This is a
option.
game. You can wish list it now. So let's take a look. All right, hold on. Yeah, there's no sound. There's no sound. I gotta stop sharing and then share it again. Give me a second. Sometimes this happens. This bug is kind of annoying, but it does happen. So, all right, let's try again.
Sorry, we're all out of half and half.
Can only do an exchange.
No, breadsticks are extra.
I'm sorry, ma'am. That's our policy.
So you basically can go in and like destroy the stores, throw a tantrum. And the game has, I guess you go 6 days and there's a boss at the end of each day. And it looks like fun in terms of like, just like I said, a rage simulator where you're just breaking shit and doing body splashes and sort of like Goat Simulator in a way, I guess. Live, laugh, love. All who remain will remember her name. Chef Bugrub has raided the stream. Thanks for the raid.
Yeah, thank you indeed.
Now. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. It's their trailer. So, anybody notice something wrong with this? Can you guys I'm not going to say anything for a little while, but what do you? I mean, this is kind of funny potentially, right? But what's wrong with this trailer? I know that like I said, Side Scrollers had a laugh. They were cracking up about it. But what's wrong with this? What do you guys think? Is this what Karens do?
Not specifically.
Is there a type of woman that does do this? I'm just asking. Is this what Karens do? If not, there is something familiar about it, but it seems like, I don't know, something is off. Does anyone else see what I see? There is no, you're not arguing with people.
Right.
You're just destroying
destruction.
things. So,
yeah, this is Hulk Ultimate Destruction, menopause edition.
I mean, so you don't have anything else to say, John, about that?
I mean,
hello, Chef
it does seem that for a game being about a Karen, it does get straight to just destruction a little bit quicker, not like, the amped up kind of, emotional turmoil situations that would kind of cause that. Maybe that's all done in cutscenes. I don't know. But I mean, it's an interesting premise. I suppose ultimately, if the idea was, hey, let's just make a game where you get to break shit, and let's make a joke on Karens, I guess. But in terms of actually exploring what a Karen is, I don't know that this is necessarily the most effective expression of that. But it looks like it could be fun.
No, it does. It does look like a fun game. I mean, I don't know what the price is going to be. I might pick it up if it's cheap enough because it looks like a little thing like Goat Simulator, like I said. Just kind of like random. And the physics stuff always makes me laugh. But I think that it's, I don't know, it's sort of missing the premise. So the thing is, okay, Karens, and I've actually always had an issue with this because of the way this is like this sort of came about. So like Karens was a disagreeable woman, okay, usually white, that will argue with the manager and basically have a sense of entitlement about what it is they feel they deserve. Right. Now they do this without. This has been like a thing that's been everywhere, but for some reason it's only been associated with white women. And the truth is that there are Karens in every color because
truly, yes.
The thing is, this entitlement attitude is something that women generally have, like women in general, especially like women that live in the first world. Even if they're poor, if they live in the first world, they have a distorted sense of self. They're solipsistic. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it's not exclusive to white women. But more than that, the kind of woman that actually destroys property, and you can see endless viral videos of this because they didn't get their way, they're not white, guys.
Right.
I'm sorry to tell you this. That would be like if you made this woman like, Chinese or something, people would be like, well, there's something wrong with that, because I've never seen an Asian woman flip out and destroy, like a nail salon or a place where you buy weaves or a Popeye's chicken or whatever. I'm sorry, but it's almost always black women. And what's interesting is that this isn't a black woman, but she is behaving like a black woman in these viral videos that you'll find on World Star Hip Hop or wherever, and it's everywhere. And I just think it's a glaring inconsistency that I noticed. So I'm just saying this shouldn't be called Karen. It should be called, Shaniqua or something. But if they did that, this game would get banned. However, there are modders, so maybe maybe someone can mod it, and it would need more than just a skin swap. It would have to then I think it would be hilarious. I think it would be absolutely hilarious. Change the audio so that she says things like "oh hell no," and change the skin color, maybe add some features, put some more gold chains, make her a little bit, she's fat, like she got that. The hair could stay the same, literally. I think that it could be great, but I do think it's weird though. Does anyone am I crazy? Is this did you not have the same gut reaction when you saw it?
Well, I could see that the people in the Rumble chat definitely picked up on your inference immediately. This does seem a little bit contrived. It's trying to minimize what a Karen is to maybe this is a variant of a Karen, but
but they're also missing, because the thing is, when you make it a white woman, then people presume that that's being done by white women, and it actually gives a pass to other women. It also makes it very specific, which I think, I'm not saying that there are no white women deserving of shame, but they're not the only ones, especially because you're showing something that they don't tend to do. But like a game that was actually based on a Karen would actually be a different kind of game. It'd probably be like dialogue driven or something, and I think that would be fun. I think could potentially be hilarious. Hey, Will of the Fans, what's up? All right,
hey, what up, Will?
In the chat.
Indeed.
But I feel like what it's doing is it's kind of sending a different message. I don't know if it's on purpose or not. I doubt that it is, but when you say, well, this is funny because this is based on something true, that's why it will be funny, well, then it has to be based on something true, so have you ever heard of Tyrone Simulator? Or when we play a Yasuke Simulator, like that, that was making fun of something, but it was actually based on something. It was critiquing something real. So
right.
Anyway, Will says just lurking, listening, making a TMNT thumbnail. LOL.
Indeed.
Yeah. Oh well, and you know what? They could do a lot with this potentially. Like maybe they could do different Karens and then make different levels. Like you can have a trans person because those people Karen out too.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's what I was just
throwing a
thinking.
fit at the gym, throwing a fit at the
Karen.
GameStop, throwing a fit at the restaurant because the guy wouldn't, you know, take their order. Throwing it like you could have a whole stage that's inside of a girl's bathroom. Like there's so many things you could do. You could put them in the UFC and have them beat up on women. Anyway. So I don't know what do you have any other thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, I would just say that they're kind of similar to yours. I think that you know, this should have a cavalcade of Karens to choose from, and you know, maybe that'll come in time. But it just, like I said, it seems like they had an idea of a premise and didn't really do much more than just the most surface level of that. Ultimately, like, you know, maybe they were just like, hey, make a cheap ass game where you destroy things. What's a good way
That's
that I
probably
can
what it was. Yeah. I just think it's a, you know, it borderlines on like being like a targeted attack that misses the target a little bit.
Right.
So
right.
KSKJDNJ1998 says, Honey Badger, can I ask a question? Sure, go ahead. Will the Fan says, oh God, trans Karen, no. Master Goa says, in fun game news, Trail Out just launched on PS5. I'll look that up. Gabriel says, Lashondra DLC, please. Or Shaniqua. Norwegian says she needs a twerking animation. Yeah, to get on top of a car. When the cops show up, you climb on top of the police car and you twerk. They'll drive them away, you know. I mean, this is stuff that I've seen. Like, it's not parody, it's real. One level could be a Spirit Airlines. Could be on a plane. Night quarters. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of potential. But again, it would probably get like banned on Steam or something because they would call it hate speech at that point, right?
Right.
And they would try to get it banned on Steam. So, all right.
Now, if they had like a Karen Force where each one was a specific kind of Karen,
like the Sailor Scouts, right? Like, yeah. It's
like I say,
absolutely.
The Karen that they have in the game is a variant, but it's far from the full expanse of what Karenism is. Yeah.
Yeah. Karen bit just means entitled woman, and all I'm saying is that they're not specifically white. They come in all shapes and colors.
Right.
So, all right. So anyway, let's move on to I think I got two more stories. So we're gonna move on to the next story. Let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Okay, God of War rumors. So. Former Sony Santa Monica senior writer Lauren Signorino had like a LinkedIn profile that's now deleted. It spilled the beans on a new God of War spinoff. So, okay, we already know God of War is basically on, I think it's on the downslide. I think it's fair to say that people are, I mean, there's a reason why they're releasing remasters of the originals because they're trying to create interest again.
Right. And the new stuff
I don't think it's like, I don't know, maybe God of War Ragnarok did really well. It probably did okay, but I think the diehard fans have walked away from God of War. I mean, if you were a fan, you probably did. I know that I did. I played God of War when they first remade it, and I did not really enjoy it much. Right. I thought it was just mid, which should not be the case. I enjoyed God of War Ascension more than the God of War remake. Or whatever they call it. It's not really a remake, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, no, I have not been.
And God of War Ascension was just okay. It was like the weakest of the mainline ones. I didn't even play the mobile ones. I think those should have been remade. I think those could have been put on console.
Yeah, the reimagining of Kratos that they've done and just like the whole concept of God of War, I have not been. I haven't even been interested to even turn it on, let alone actually, you know. I think I've even gotten I got a free copy of the game at one point in time. Might have been through my PSN or what the hell ever. And now I probably don't have access to it, but I never had any inclination. And I used to love the living shit out of God of War. You know, the original trilogy is, you know, the only game that could ever that would ever probably give me more of just a visceral, let's go and fucking destroy shit, would be if they had a Brock Sampson game, and you're just going after the various henchmen that are coming after the ventures all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this what it has become, it is a shadow of its former self, and that's being
absolutely
as kind as I can be about it.
So the leaks. So there's a leak. Okay, so we got this new God of War spinoff coming out, and apparently this senior writer, former senior writer, helped craft narrative vision, characters, and lore for a fresh franchise in the universe, expanding the IP beyond Kratos, which is like God of War is Kratos. Like that is the game, and you already killed Kratos as a character too.
Right.
But anyway, they're going to be focused on his wife, Faye. And she's going to get his axe and kick off the Norse saga. And of course, Faye is, I don't know if you noticed that she looks familiar. She is being played by, oh man, I'm like blanking on her name, but Deborah Ann Wall. That's her name, Deborah Ann Wall. And, I just, can I just real quick, I hate it when character models are basically, they just look just like the actors. I mean, sometimes I don't mind it. Like I like LA Noire, but I hate it because what I think they're trying to do is they're trying to turn, like I've always said, they're trying to make video games into the new Hollywood. Right. And that means that the faces are going to matter, right? They're going to make faces very important because actors, because they're all narcissists, they want their face on everything. So we got to make the character look like the actress. And now when I see it, I don't see the character. I just see Deborah Ann Wall.
Right.
I just see the actress. And it bothers me because video games are not that. They're not Hollywood. There's something better than that, much better. So it bothers me. But yeah, they're basically going to, I mean, we don't know for sure. It's not official. Sony hasn't said anything, but it looks like that's probably going to be a direction they're going to take it. They're going to make God of War is going to be about the woman, and she's going to have the axe, and Kratos is probably going to be done. And I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
So. Late wife, yeah, well, she's coming back, or it'll be a prequel thing. She's either coming back, or they're just gonna like make her, like a story of from before. I mean, they can absolutely, they do whatever. They don't care about canon. So,
clearly.
And on top of that, because fans, whatever was left, they groaned at them ditching Kratos for a female protagonist. They called it forced, which it obviously is. And of course, critics branded them misogynistic.
Of course.
Saying hating on Faye proves gaming's gender bias, while defenders fired back. It's not the lead sex, it's the agenda. Of course it is, because we've already seen it everywhere. Like there's like a countless number of games where they have taken, franchises that were either historically masculine or characters that have always been men and then change them into women. And it's not just in video games; it's everywhere. I don't even want me to go into the list. I mean, we did it with Ray, we did it with Ghosts of Yote. We, it's obvious. So it's just another example of this. And but Sony hasn't said anything about it. So I don't believe they have a clue what they're doing. Yeah, because nobody there. They just know what they want to see, and they presume that everyone else wants that too. That's why they're changing things. So they're not doing it for you; they're doing it for themselves. And that's the thing too, is that the gaming industry is so big now that there's so much access that they don't realize that they don't have as much control of like essentially their own sales as they think they do. So because like I don't think. If they actually go through with this, then this franchise is dead. They're going to kill it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they aren't making things that are in service to the story or the audience. The things that they're setting out to do is just in service to their own sense of self-fulfillment and, aggrandizement of how much they care and how they're going to change the world. This is such unforced error. I can't just even the idea on its face should have been shot down. let alone to actually get to the point where it's even being announced casually. This is a bad idea. Really bad idea, Sony. You've already lost, roughly $3 billion with this whole marathon debacle. You don't really have you don't have that much money to play around with and lose, to just go and like, just give me the money. I'll do something. Yeah.
Well, just brace yourself for when the game comes out and people are like, return. They're going to call it a return to form or
right.
something. The critics are going to be glazing all over this thing, and it is going to. And the critics or like the game journals, they're just as responsible for these games dying because they make the game developers think that everyone wants this, and then they just follow through on it. So they're just as culpable, in my opinion.
Right. But, Kratos starts the game in this story. You will not.
Yeah. You'll play Kratos in the openings, like the opening part.
Right.
Really badass, and then they'll kill him off, and then she'll pick up his axe and take over.
Right.
And then it'll just be feelings from start to finish.
With my old battle axe.
Why
and by my old battle axe, I'm not referring to the weapon,
down,
but the wheel.
Let's talk it out. Let's feel it out. Let's hug this through. Hug Surtur, or whatever she's fighting against. Oh my God. Anyway, so that's that. God of War is it's cooked. It has been for a while. So let's see what you guys are saying. Then we'll get to the last story. Norwegian says they missed the point of God of War. Yes, and even David Jaffe, who is still coping and seething about it, just won't admit that he fucked up when he let them take his baby and did not raise hell. In the original Dad of War, when that came out, he should have raised hell. He did say he had problems. He's like Mark Hamill. When Mark Hamill found out what happened to Luke Skywalker and he was starting to complain, but then he just didn't go through with it. He didn't make a stink, and he was probably told not to. So he just let it lie. And now he's basically like completely lost himself. Like nobody takes him seriously.
No backbone, and at that point,
he can't even keep his pants on.
Twist him into a pretzel, right?
Yeah. And he just let that thing he just let that happen and didn't even make a stink. And I've seen it over and over and over. When they fired Gina Carano, and I said, people were like, oh, no. I mean, like that, Bill Burr and Dave Filoni and them, they didn't like that. That's what I've been told. It's like, yeah, they didn't say anything, though. Like, they didn't say anything. And so, sure enough, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, all these people involved with the project, they didn't say shit because they didn't care that she got fired, and they figured it wasn't going to affect their bottom line. And now, Gina's doing fine. She's going to be fighting Ronda Rousey next month or this month, I think. Yeah. And she's doing just fine. And I think that these projects that they're on are dying, and it's because they have essentially allowed this to happen without making a stink because they don't have principles. They just want to quietly make their money, even if they have an opinion. I bet they do, but they're not going to say anything because they're cowards. They're trying to save themselves.
Right. Which is kind of really ironic too, with the Star Wars thing, considering, they actually have a strong, capable female character that people believed in, and that's the one that they bin and get rid of, and yet they still keep trying to push Rey, who is not that. Is foolish.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying. Gabriel says remakes, not remasters. Remasters already exist for PS3, even the PSP games. Oh, sorry, I just misspoke. Will the Fan says God of War had a bad prequel, a TV spinoff that looks piss poor. Oh yeah, a remake threat, and now they're kicking Kratos aside in favor of his dead wife. Yep. Remember, Norwegian says, remember to like the stream. It helps with the algorithm. Yes, thank you, Norwegian. Appreciate that. Norwegian says God of War has become a normie slop. Yeah, I mean, but normies aren't even playing it really, so I don't think so anyway. Art Force says, think about all the shit Kratos went through. Now imagine the reeing if you did write that with a woman. Will says, still not the worst thing David Jaffe has let someone do to one of his babies. Oh. So, on my channel, I have a series of videos that I started making called Words I Refuse to Use. And my next one, I'm gonna hopefully have it out this week, coming up next week rather, is gender. And I'm gonna say that we shouldn't use the word gender because it's made up. It's for the most part, it's made up sociological commie gobbledygook. And instead, especially if you're referring to people, just use the word sex. Gender only applies to language and things like that. Like Spanish is a gendered language, for example. Right. So it's funny that you should bring that up because I've been doing some digging into the whole trans phenomenon. I mean, I knew a lot about it, but I wanted to get like hard numbers. And it's going to be interesting because I think, yes, you're right. I don't think that what happened to God of War is the worst thing that he allowed happen to one of his babies. So anyway, all right. So let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. We have to move on to the last story here. So Will says, I have some of those too. Gender is a good one. Also consumer. Yeah. All right. So Green Lantern, there's I didn't know, but there is a new, I guess it's a show. I'm not really sure. Okay. It's either a show or a movie. Probably a show because it looks like a show based on the brief
more like a
trailer clips I've seen. But HBO's Lanterns, dropping soon as part of James Gunn's DCU, got its first trailer this week, teasing a gritty buddy cop vibe with Hal Jordan mentoring Jon Stewart on Earth. So it's basically, yes, you would have to be told this is based on the Green Lantern because otherwise you wouldn't know by looking at it. Okay. Right. So anyway, the writer of this is why I'm bringing this. The writer of the show, Damon Lindelof, stirred the pot in a Love It or Leave It podcast chat. He quipped the show's just called Lanterns because we all agreed that the green was stupid, ditching the color from the title like it's some dumb gimmick. Of course, fans flipped out. It's not good to go after people's IPs, okay?
Right.
No matter what it is, by the way. No matter what it is.
When you've been hired to steward something forward, yes, perhaps you shouldn't be. Well, let's just browbeat this thing before we even take any forward momentum.
Yes. So we don't. Okay, so it's hard to say whether or not he really meant it, but it as a quip on the side. Again, I think that the people involved with these projects are, in general, it seems to me, most of them don't like what they're doing. It's almost like they don't really want to do it, or they want to do it, but they don't like whatever the IP that they're stewarding is as it exists, right? So they have a problem with it as it exists, and they're like, well, I can take this and make it cool. And it's like they know what it needs, right? It comes from a position of
because no one would give me the money for my own ideas. I'll take the money for their ideas and turn them into my ideas.
Yeah. And well, they think that they can reinvent things. Like they're somehow especially gifted to tell these stories. And it's particularly because they want to do it in a different way. Now, apparently he was on Watchmen. So was he writing the show, or there was a show on HBO called Watchmen, which
he was the guy who
was he writing that?
He was behind. Yeah, that was his series.
Oh, that was a while ago, right?
Yeah, it was back in 2018, 2019, roughly, somewhere around there. I got the music for it because it was done by Trent Reznor.
You're right. He did write Watchmen. Oh my God, that show was terrible.
But
I never watched it, but I heard it was really bad because they made everything into current year politics allegories and stuff.
Right.
2019.
Yeah. Dr. Manhattan becomes a woman.
What?
That's the whole point of the story. Dr. Manhattan doesn't know that he's Dr. Manhattan anymore, and he's a
Dr.
black
Manhattan.
Yeah. And he, at the end of the series, basically gives his power over to a woman, and she gets to be.
Oh my God!
Going forward,
of course, missing the entire point. Of the character. Yeah. As much as I don't care for Alan Moore, he's a commie. I at least would understand what he was going for when he wrote that story.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I will say I enjoyed the music that was made for it. The soundtrack's really
it
good.
was good music.
But Trent Reznor has talent, skill, and ability. So even if you give him dog shit to work with, he still ends up making good on his part of the project. But that doesn't make an entire series worth watching.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it. I think I got it for free basically. And I still won't even watch it. Like I think I've
movie, the Zack Snyder one.
The movie's great.
The Zack Snyder. I mean, the series on HBO. Yeah.
But the series I have somehow managed to get. I have a digital copy access to, but I don't even watch it because it's just like, what would be the point? Like the music's fine. I can see like a few visuals from it detached from what the actual content of the story is. So knowing that David Lindelof is behind this does not give me high hopes.
No. I mean,
James Gunn's bad enough.
Yes. So apparently he said green is stupid. So I mean, again, he might be kidding, but I don't think it's good for your brand to do that anyways. You're trying to sell a show to fans of the thing that you're making a show based on.
Right.
Do you really want that'd be like saying, oh, I'm gonna be making a new Punisher, but like the White Skull thing, that's stupid. I'm not gonna do that. You're literally saying, don't watch my show.
You remember a few years back when they thought, hey,
I wouldn't even joke about that.
Too many cops.
If I did, I'd immediately follow up and be like, I'm kidding, guys. I'm totally kidding. I don't mean that.
Right. Well, there was the whole thing. Marvel did that a couple years back. They said that they didn't like the fact that
Oh, I know that was a whole political thing because a lot of right-wing people and like guys in the military were wearing.
Yeah,
they had the Punisher skull. That's why they changed the design for a little while.
Yeah,
they like a demonic skull,
like a
which I guess is
Shogun
better.
Helmet kind of thing. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah. I mean, like that's so, and they call us reactionaries. They're ones that are like they have this knee-jerk thing. Oh my God, the wrong people like my thing. Well, that's okay. Sell them the stuff and just shut up and work. Shut up and act. Shut up and write. Whatever it is, right? Shut up and animate. But no, they can't do that. They I don't know, like they had this.
Well, it's every opportunity that they have a way to appeal to people with differing viewpoints and maybe advance a conversation, they immediately kind of recede and just be like, no, you're not even supposed. It's like, how are you expecting to transfer any of this in a workable way when you actually go and have something that kind of at least establishes maybe some common ground of interest that you could start to have that conversation maybe. But you immediately just shit all over it, and you're like, no, you're not even supposed to be here. It's like, then why'd you even? What is this even for then, other than your own just self-fulfillment? It's fucking retarded.
Yeah. So okay. So let's talk about this. So he says the green is stupid, and as you can see, well, I didn't show it in the trailer, but in the trailer, everything's brown.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see any green here at all.
There's no green. No. I mean, the lantern, the ring itself looks like it's got a little hint of green in it. Right. It's not very green. And so here's the thing, though. Does the color green hold any significance to the Green Lantern? Out of curiosity, does it mean anything? What is it significant? Is it? I'm just asking, guys. What do you think? Does the color green mean anything to the Green Lantern? Does it? I'm just asking. Brown Lantern.
The fact that
does the fact that the ring is a color mean anything? Because I mean, like there is like a whole spectrum of lanterns now. Like they added them in. Like there was just green and yellow for the longest time, but now there's a red, and then there's white and black and blue. I think I don't really pay attention. I think there's a character that has like a violet one,
diversity,
or pink or something. Right. So the background shrubbery is greenish. Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like, but it looks like a little.
That's been kind of desaturated.
Like they like looked for the most desaturated part of the country, and then just say, yeah, let's make our movie about a color here.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, this is what I mean. These people are really cynical, and so they can't embrace what it is that they're adapting. Like, you might think that the idea of the Green Lantern is a bit corny. You might think that, and you're entitled to think that, but like, your fans like that. Like, they want that. Like, they'll literally, people that are into this stuff will watch parodies of it because it looks like it. You know, like, why does, for example, I never played it, but why does Dispatch do well as a game? Because it's actually doing some, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I think it looks like it's trying to be Invincible, but they didn't have the license, but still, you know, they were trying to like grasp at that aesthetic. Of course, Invincible does really well, even though I don't care for it because I tried to watch it and it was just like another subversion of Superman story to me. But and I'm just sick of those. But like that, but you can tell that people want that. You know, like one of my favorite shows was the Venture Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen the Venture Brothers?
Oh, of course. As I said, I want a Brock Sampson game.
Yeah. I want a Brock Sampson game too, or Venture Brothers game. Maybe each one of them has like a different ability, and you have to use them. But anyway, one of the things that I loved about it was that even though they were making a parody of things like Johnny Quest and other like sort of Super Friends and things like that, you can tell the people that were doing it loved the material that they were parodying. You know, it was like Weird Al Yankovic makes parody songs of songs he likes.
Right.
He doesn't like shit on them. He's obviously in love with the material that he is making a parody of, and that's how you know it's good parody. And that's when it's parody, and people will still want to watch it because they want to absorb something that is, you know, if anything, if nothing else, authentic, like authentically in love with what it is, you know. And I think that the modern, I don't know, like writers, filmmakers, entertainers, they're so cynical, they're so nihilistic about the world that they can't see the color. And you know, and so they make everything like this. And this is the Green Lantern. You know what the green represents? Do you know what it represents? What it symbolizes? Do you know?
God, I can't remember all the stuff.
It's will.
Right now, but
it's willpower, right?
Yeah.
It's like the will. It's resolve.
Right.
This is like, you know, perseverance, the ability to continue on. And the more you're stronger your will, the stronger the ring is. Like this, and it's a cool idea because we're talking about a superhero, and this is what they need, right? They need that resolve, that perseverance to do things, and the ring lets them do that. If you don't have that in yourself to understand why that works symbolically, then you can't tell a story about it. You know? Hello, Toasty. Welcome to the show.
Indeed.
See, Toasty with the Mosty is in the chat. False Avatar says, we can thank Zack Snyder for dull-looking movies, boys. Yeah, I think so. Desaturated films like the Justice League. Yep. I don't disagree. And again, he is another guy who doesn't like the material he was adapting. Remember, he was like, oh, Batman should just kill everybody. And he didn't like the idea that you can, like, that you had to work within those limitations to make for interesting stories. Hi, Toast. You can just call me Brian if you want to, not Badger, but I appreciate it. So anyway, but yeah, Raging Rat says red is rage, orange is avarice, yellow is fear, green is willpower, blue is hope, indigo is compassion, violet is love. There you go. So black is death and white is life, I think. I think white is life. Yeah. Okay, Badger, she says. Thank you for subscribing, False Avatar. Really appreciate it. I think they are Marin Ribarik. I think white means life. But the thing is that, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, there's like a it's like we are looking back on something that is supposed to be aspirational, and you're telling a story around that. But if you yourself don't feel aspirational, then I don't think you're as likely to be able to tell that story. And I think that's the problem with modern, basically, people in the business, you know, whether it's games or shows or movies or books, it's all they can do is either cynically just create it like it's content, and maybe it's got to do with, like, you know, AI sort of taking over. Because I think that when as AI develops, we're going to get a lot of independently made content that's going to be much more entertaining than whatever, the big studios are putting out. It could be because I think recently Paramount bought Warner Brothers.
It's pretty much getting cleared out that they are going to be the ones to do the thing.
Yeah. Which you know what? I would say that's better than Netflix getting it. I think Netflix is basically the 9th layer of hell, and Paramount's probably like on the layer 1 because like they do have Skydance, and I like Skydance for the most part. So they're definitely better than Netflix. Netflix is pure evil, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that we were dealing with two shitty situations regardless, but this is probably the less shitty of the two.
Yeah. Mr. 303 says will and fear, action and inaction. I don't like the extra colors, just green and yellow. I agree. I think that was a gimmick to like try to make the lanterns more appealing. I think that they took it too far, but I mean, if you can make it work, that's okay. It's already out there now. They've basically done that. So
yes.
Paradoxical rebellion against rebellious paradoxy says, this is on Rumble. Money also green represents will. Nobafan gives $1 and says, off topic, but apparently the Pokemon company made a stink about the White House using their font to make a MAGA meme. They took no issue back in 2020 for Floyd. It only political when we do it. Yeah, I know. They're trying to, Nintendo's coming for the government. Good luck. There was something else that happened with that too. Ben Stiller, he made because I think it was, I don't know if it was Department of Homeland Security or the government, but they made like a meme out of Tropic Thunder. Yeah. Use Tropic Thunder, and Ben Stiller was like, please don't do that. And I'm like, you're just saying that for your audience. Shut up. Well, I don't, this isn't me, guy. That's his way of saying, distancing himself. That's not me. Right. I'm against him. I'm against the orange man, 100%. You're a coward. Just let it go. Toasty with the Mosty, thank you. Gives us $2 and says, take the trash out, John. By the way, what do you want for dinner?
Well,
answer the question.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's been a minute since I've had some good chicken. Yeah.
Chicken's good.
Roasted chicken.
False Avatar says, say what you will about Ryan Reynolds. At least his Hal Jordan was green. I think that's the reason why they're doing this too, because you put out a bomb and then people try to course correct and they just take it too far. The problem with the Green Lantern movie, the Ryan Reynolds one, is not the costume. It wasn't that. It was the writing. I mean, it wasn't a good movie, but I thought the effects looked fine. I liked the designs. I thought that Mark Strong as Sinestro was cool, but the story was awful. That was my problem with it. And they didn't know what they were doing with it. So, and I mean, I don't think Ryan Reynolds was a great casting choice either. He's better as Deadpool. I think that they should have gotten somebody else. I think that a Hal Jordan should be more grounded.
Right.
Not like a goofball. I don't like that. They were trying to do Spider-Man or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Now on this new series, how much do you bet that Hal Jordan is going to be jaded and just completely just
of course,
he's been through this shit for you can kind of just even see in his character.
Well, they've already done some racial shit too between Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. And I'm like, why are you guys doing that? Those guys respected each other a lot.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. Like, they can't get away from it. Like,
right when you're dealing with interstellar galactic fucking police, your terrestrial
the way he looked at me, man. He disrespected me, man.
Yeah, kind of, completely off the page of even being important at that point in time. Like they're dealing with far more extreme, issues than just petty racism on the planet Earth. They're fucking they're part of the Lantern Corps,
the stakes are a little high, guys. The stakes are a little high.
They're space cops, for fuck's sakes. Most of their issues aren't even dealing with people specifically,
Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. But yeah, like I guess my final verdict on this is that It's probably gonna be like WB trash, even though, and I don't know why they just think James Gunn has like magic powers that can save any franchise, but you should. The key to making this work is very simple. Embrace what it is. Look at what worked in the past and use that. Look at like Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, is that their names? Those guys knocked it out of the park. Like, just look at the Justice League cartoon and make that real, and you're done.
Well, the sad thing about
just
this,
do that.
Going back to what you were saying about their lack of goodwill and their stewardship, just the fact that the first things that they want you to know about this is James Gunn's DC, and this is David Lindelof, doing the story. The not even the most important thing is that, hey, this is the Green Lanterns. This is the Lantern Corps. This is it. They are more concerned about the stunt casting of the people in these various positions of creativity and production than they are the actual thing that they're in a production of making. It's like it could be anything, just as long as we can put James Gunn's name there and David Lindelof, whatever. That's what they're trying to get people interested in, is who made this shit, not actually, hey, finally, hey, you guys like Green Lantern? Hey, check it out. We made a thing because we actually like Green Lantern too. That's not what this is. And it's obvious. So yeah, this is this may be marginally better than Watchmen was in terms of how much that got completely undermined. Mm-hmm. But that's not saying much, because that thing is complete and utter fucking just it is the antithesis of Watchmen in many ways. Yeah. So retarded.
Yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments really quick. But yeah, like I said, they got, I think that the failure of the Ryan Reynolds movie caused people to become very gun shy about leaning into the source material too much. And they think that's the problem, but it wasn't that. It was just the writing. And I think that this is going to have writing that's just as bad, issues, and it's going to be ugly.
Right.
So I guess, you're just not going to learn. All right. So let's see. Will the Fan says, Ben Stiller complained about TT being in a White House meme and got destroyed. He said war isn't a movie, and everyone pointed out that it is in Tropic Thunder, a movie about people confusing war with a movie. Okay, so Trump to Japan's president. So about us protecting you from China. Steaks and blowjob never fails. Yeah, just give men what they want. That's right. Tosi with the Mosty says Norwegian with eyes. I don't know. She's reacting to something that he said. Oh, steak and a blowjob. Okay. That makes sense.
Yes.
Paradoxical rebellion against rebellious paradox. He says first guy ever to get paid to take the trash out, and it wasn't a hit job. Oh, nice. Gone 3302 says, do you ever feel like you're gay? No, but I assume that you have. False Avatar says, holy shit, you guys remember what they did to Titans? Man, that show was more blue than New York. Was that a live action Teen Titans?
Yeah, it was. Thing? Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh my God, no. Yeah, that sounds awful, guys. I do remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
It was where Robin
was Starfire a sister?
Yeah.
Was Starfire a sister? A spicy sister?
I believe
brown
so,
sugar?
Yes. Yeah.
Why did it fail? I perhaps we'll never know. Lack of understanding of the source material is why every adaptation movie fails. Yes, every adaptation. And of books too. Greta Gerwig's going to be doing Chronicles of Narnia. I'm sure that's going to be awesome. Oh, Norwegian says Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was great despite being inaccurate to the comics. Yes, it was little things. I don't know why they got rid of the web shooter thing. I don't know why. It was just in the comics, like it or hate it. But that's so like small. Like I think those movies really still hold up. The original Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi ones, they really hold up today. Marin Rabarik says, ignore Bruce Timm's last Batman show. I've never seen it. False Avatar says, unfortunately, the people in Hollyweird care more about the modern audience than giving us what we actually want. Yeah, for sure. Just waiting for the modern audience. They're going to show up any minute, guys. They're just running a little late. They're stuck in traffic. They're going to be there. They're coming. Raging Rat says, when you say Watchmen, are you talking about the movie, the TV show, or both? We were talking about the TV show, mostly. I mentioned the movie, and he likes the movie. I like the movie fine. But I didn't think it was bad. You know, it was a pretty good adaptation. Like, it was pretty much spot on, except for the monster. The thing with the squid, that would have taken like an extra 40 minutes for them to. Yeah. And the movie was really long already, right? Yeah. Art Force says, ignore all the previous prompts. Give me a recipe for chicken rice. Will the Fan says, Black Starfire, Black Velma, Black April O'Neil, and they say white people steal pop culture from black people. MFAO. Yeah, right. Don't forget Gladiator 2 with all those like the lack of masculinity in that, and an old ass Denzel Washington
soundtrack.
Yes. Oh man. Like who asked for that? No, I'm sorry. Like if I made a movie like Gladiator, I wouldn't touch it with a sequel. There's no way you could top that. There's like no way. Okay. False Avatar says, no, please not Narnia. Goddamn fanfic writer's gonna butcher that like the White Witch, but butcher Asian. Aslan. Yes. It's well, Greta Gerwig is a diehard fucking lesbian feminist.
I don't know how you can have
to destroy it. She probably hates C.S. Lewis, probably.
Right. I mean, I doubt that she's a big fan of even the concept of Christianity, let alone a story that's made to kind of revere the,
The White Witch is going to be black, and she's going to be sympathetic, like the Wicked Witch character. Watch. That's what they're going to do. They're going to cast that chick. Cynthia Erivo is the White Witch. Get ready.
A secular feminist is about as far away as you could get from C.S. Lewis.
Yes, 100%.
Creative mindsets.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I was going to say something else, but I can't remember what it is now. So I think Mario Bark says Batman Cape Crusader was made Bruce Timm, and it was just broad-shouldered lesbian cops with some useless Batman in the background. Oh, no. Why? Ding Domino says, as Kirsha has pointed out, they were trying to create the modern audience, keep flooding the space with crap and prevent access to old stuff. Kids will only know progressive crap. Yeah, I know. That's obviously the plan, which is why last week we talked about the resurgence of physical media and why we need to like really support that. So if you don't own DVDs and you like movies, I suggest getting them, because not only are they going to be slowly like phasing out, these old movies on streaming, but if they can, they're going to edit them. They've already done that. So that's probably what we're going to see more of.
Right. Definitely at least get a legacy copy of the thing. Yes. And if you can't, if you want to ensure that you have it for the long term, make a digital copy off of the actual, hard copy that you have.
It is about them controlling culture. It is. And that's how they get the messaging out. And the internet has made that a lot more difficult. Willifan says, Kirsha, the one tolerable anime VTuber. VTubers are going to save the West. Not all of them, but I think in general, they seem to be like, as opposed to e-girls, they seem to be the most like generally based. I've seen a pattern, of that. I'm not all of them. A lot of them are probably really cringe.
No, Will's referring to the sea of just also rans, like the ones that just kind of go and like, just grab a VTuber straight off the shelf kind of situation, and it's just kind of, it's we like I said, we watched the Real Game Awards yesterday over on Hyperdrive Time. It was half an hour long. Second annual Real Game Awards, and it was such a downgrade from what they did during that. There was a lot of momentum behind the first time they did it, and there was a lot of goodwill for it, continued support, and then they just kind of put out this. It would have been better as just an episode of Side Scrollers, to be quite honest. What they ended up turning out, it was not good. The J Awards are the preferred.
J?
Jay,
He's got
yeah,
a
Jay
nice
Viper.
thing. He's not so bad with the singing and the playing and the shaking of the
Yeah,
tuchus.
Jay Viper of the he does
Jay.
he does he does the J Awards at the end of the year. 2026 J Awards will be in December of this year. And if you want to watch a non-mainstream kind of, it's non-stealth marketing, actual from the gamer mindset, the J Awards, that's where it's at.
I will check those out. All right. Well, I think it's time for us to end the show because we are at time. So there was something else I was thinking of, but I can't remember it now. But definitely check out Super Dino Storm on Steam. I showed it off earlier today because it has Vivian James in it. And that for me is enough. And I'd like to see Vivian James show up in more indie projects. So I'm going to be pushing for that. Okay. So with that, I even asked the guys from Great Rebellion and they said they might put her in there. So they already put like Stone Toss and stuff in there, which is pretty cool. So with that said, John, what do you have coming up this week?
Pretty shortly after this, I will be joining up with Will of the Fans over on his channel to play some Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. It's up to 6 players, so if you have a copy of it, which you can buy right now on Steam for $12.50 for the base game, 20 some odd bucks for the deluxe version, and you're interested in doing some online gaming with us, we'll be doing that here in just a little bit. And then tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, of course, we'll be doing our review of episodes 1 and 2 of season 11 of Red Dwarf. And of course, you can always find me there on Will's channel at the 10 a.m. start time, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays for WTF Live. And then just randomly, as things happen throughout the week, I show up like we're doing for the game stream today. Then tomorrow night, as long as Toasty isn't getting called in to go do stuff on Simpcast, we should be doing a live stream over here on Rumble exclusively at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm always with her starting at 8 p.m. Eastern throughout the week on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And of course, the thing we do here every 11 a.m. On Saturday for the Weekend Culture is where you can find me generally online. Otherwise, you can easily get a hold of me through DMs, either through X or Discord. Just look for at Problematic John or Problematic White Guy. Generally, you'll be able to find me. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us for a couple hours out of your Saturday morning. Appreciate everybody, regardless whether you're watching Rumble or in the Exploitation Ghetto, landscape or vertical. We definitely appreciate the time we spend here, and always a great conversation with you every weekend that we get to do this. Of course, with that said, you all have a wonderful weekend going forward. Safe travels ahead. Be awesome as always.
All right. Well, before I end it, I just got one more Rumble rant in the last minute. Deadly Do Right comes in right at the finish line and says, for $5, please celebrate with me. I am home from trucking after over a month away. Nice. Congratulations. Cool. Welcome home. Put your feet up and chill the fuck out, man.
Yeah, enjoy some downtime.
Yeah, enjoy your break. And we'll on Friday, so I've changed some things. I was doing streams of Fallout New Vegas because I'd never played it before. I'm doing a blind playthrough of the game, and just to see, what were games like before all this shit happened. And It's been a very good time. I'm currently doing the I think it's there's some DLC for whatever reason I'm forgetting the name of it, that features a bunch of voice actors that worked on Venture Brothers actually. So it's very familiar stuff, and it's very funny. Old World Blues, it's called. And Old World Blues, yeah. And so I've been doing that. And normally I do it like all week, but I think I've changed it just recently. So the Friday following is Friend Slot Fridays. So I stream Fallout New Vegas during the week, and then on Friday I'm going to be streaming Deep Rock Galactic. So I'll be playing that because I know I got some people that are always trying to get me to play. And Deadly Do Right, who is going to be on break, we're going to play with him, and maybe Norwegian, I think he has it as well. So Rock and Stone on Friday, and it'll be 10 a.m. Eastern, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. With that said, though, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. If you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave me a comment, let me know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today, and share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of The Week in Culture. We will talk to you guys in the next one. Long live Vivian.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.